All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring a seriously mind-blowing concept. What if I told you the entire universe is built like a giant 14-story skyscraper? We're going to blend cutting-edge modern science with ancient wisdom to literally map out reality. We'll break the universe down into a structure that's super easy to understand, even for kids, and then look at the ultimate user manual for how to actually play the game of life. To kick things off, you know what's absolutely fascinating? The founding fathers of quantum mechanics, the scientists figuring out the tiniest, most complex building blocks of our world, actually looked to ancient Vedic texts to make sense of it all. Take Erwin Schrödinger, for example. Literally one of the smartest minds in modern history, he was profoundly influenced by Eastern philosophy and read Hindu scriptures endlessly. It turns out, when the greatest scientists hit the absolute edge of what physics could explain, they found themselves looking right at concepts that were written down thousands of years ago.
So here is a huge paradigm shift. Modern science usually tells us that consciousness is just a byproduct, like your brain is a computer that just happens to generate thoughts. But ancient philosophy? It flips that completely upside down. It says pure consciousness is the actual power source for everything. Think of it like a movie projector. The matter and energy around us are just the pictures playing on the screen, but consciousness is the light making the whole movie happen in the first place. You aren't just a physical body that has thoughts. You're a conscious being currently playing a character in a physical form. Which brings us to the ultimate origin story. Ancient Vedic texts describe the supreme reality expanding into a being named Mahavishnu, resting in the causal ocean. Imagine someone blowing bubbles. The texts say that while he sleeps, he literally breathes out millions of universes with every exhale. And then when he inhales, pop! Those universes are drawn right back into him. It's this infinite, beautiful, cosmic breath. And here is where it gets wild, because this ancient idea mirrors cutting-edge modern science almost perfectly. That cosmic breath matches the cyclic universe model proposed by physicists in 2001. Instead of just one single Big Bang, scientists now theorize that the universe acts like a giant cosmic yo-yo. It expands outward, then pulls back into a tiny point, and just repeats that loop endlessly. So the breath of Mahavishnu and the leading theories of modern physics are describing the exact same rhythm.
Okay, so if we zoom into our specific universe within this massive cycle, Veda cosmology maps it out as a literal 14-story skyscraper. And this isn't just a vague metaphor, it's a highly structured map of reality. There are 7 floors above us and 7 floors below us. And humanity, we're hanging out right in the middle on the 7th floor. Let's take a quick elevator ride through this building, starting at the very top. At the absolute peak, we have Loka, the realm of truth. Think of this as the cosmic checkout counter. Souls up here have 0 karma left and are just about to merge completely with ultimate reality. Right below that is Loka, basically a cosmic waiting room for beings with immense spiritual discipline. When the universe resets, they just calmly wait it out in deep meditation. Then we drop down to Loka. This is essentially the R&D department of reality, where mind-born sages draft the laws of nature before they ever filter down to us. Dang, going down. Now we hit the middle floors. Mahaloka is for great saints who survive cosmic resets, though they can still feel the distress of the lower worlds dissolving. Below them is Svarloka. This is basically the ultimate heavenly theme park, full of celestial palaces and divine music. But there's a catch. You only get to stay as long as your good karma lasts. And right above us is Bhur-loka, a transit corridor connecting our physical world to those higher realms. But wait, here's a massive twist that shifts how we see this entire skyscraper. If Svarloka is a painless, beautiful, totally stress-free paradise, why do the ancient texts say the divine beings living there actually want to downgrade? Why would they ever want to be reborn as humans in our messy, chaotic reality? Well, the answer is Earth, the 7th floor. Out of all 14 realms, Earth is the absolute only place where you can level up. Everywhere else in the building, your karma meter is completely frozen. The upper floors are just rewards for past good deeds, and the lower floors are where you burn off karmic debt. But Earth is the main gameplay level. It's the only place where your choices actually rewrite your future score. Those celestial beings want to come here because Earth is where the actual, meaningful work gets done. Now, what happens if we go below Earth? You might be expecting pitchforks and fire, but no. We actually find realms of hypnotizing distractions. The first step down is Atala. It's an endless loop of sensory pleasure, where you just chase fun. and your spiritual growth completely stalls. Below that is Vitala, a realm glowing with supernatural gold and outward beauty, but the energy there is entirely absorbed in physical stuff, pointing you completely away from higher consciousness. But even in these lower depths, there are huge surprises. Take the floor called Sutala, for example. Lord Vishnu actually transformed this specific level into a divine paradise. Why? Because the guy running it, a demon king named Bali, shows complete, graceful humility over his own immense power when he was tested. It's a great reminder that being a good person isn't about where you happen to be in the cosmos, it's entirely about the state of your heart. Going even deeper, we hit Talatala. This is ruled by Maya, the master architect of illusions, who builds realities so convincing that you totally forget you're inside one. Then there's Mahatala, home to ancient massive snakes called Nagas, who live in this permanent state of coiled, low-grade tension. And Rasatala? That's essentially the cosmic opposition party. It's full of rival cosmic teams playing an endless, highly sophisticated game of capture the flag against the upper realms. Finally, we reach the absolute basement of reality, Patala. You'd think the bottom would be totally grim, but it's actually breathtakingly beautiful. There's no sun or moon down there. It's lit entirely by the warm glow of magnificent jewels resting on the hoods of infinite serpents. And right at the center is the great serpent Shesha, who acts as the foundation, literally holding up the immense weight of the entire 14-story building. So let's take a step back. Knowing that we're sitting right in the middle on the 7th floor, the one single level where our actions actually count, how do we successfully play this game? How do we navigate life without just endlessly riding this cosmic elevator up and down, lifetime after lifetime? This is where the ancient texts give us a direct, highly practical user manual, specifically Chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita. This chapter focuses completely on Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. It's not just some abstract philosophical theory. It's a real, accessible toolkit for anyone trying to transcend the daily grind of the cosmic skyscraper. In this chapter, the warrior Arjuna is facing a massive existential crisis, and he asks a really relatable question. He asks, is it better to worship a personal form of the divine, like a friend you can see and relate to, or is it better to try and connect with an invisible, formless energy, which is kind of like trying to hug the wind? He's basically asking, what actually works best for the human mind? The response he gets is so deeply comforting. Lord Krishna explains that while both paths totally work, trying to meditate on a formless absolute is incredibly hard for us humans. Instead, simply having unwavering faith and devotion to a personal Lord is the most direct, accessible path to inner peace. It anchors your wandering mind. It's literally like holding a parent's hand so you don't get lost wandering around this giant 14-story building. So what does this look like for us in everyday life? Well, the Gita says a true practitioner is skillful in action. That means doing your chores, your homework, or your day job expertly, but doing it without throwing a tantrum over the reward. You basically replace what's in it for me with a mindset of service. You do the work just for the sake of doing it well, and you offer that effort up to the divine. And guys, this is the ultimate hack for the 7th floor. By offering the fruits of your actions to the divine, this path of devotion completely replaces material attachment with surrender. It lets you totally bypass the trap of accumulating more karma. You're still acting in the world, doing your job, living your life. But because your actions aren't tied to selfish desires anymore, the karma meter absolutely stops ticking. So, as you go about your day in this incredibly vast, cyclically repeating cosmic skyscraper, surrounded by heavens above and jeweled realms below, the ultimate question really comes down to this. Every choice, every action, every intention counts right now. What are you going to do with your time on the 7th floor today? Keep that in mind the next time you step out your front door. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope it gave you a completely new lens through which to view your daily routine.